Hello and welcome to Almost 30 Podcast. My name is Krista Williams and I'm excited you're here. I truly, madly, deeply believe that. If you just heard a meow in the background, we have a guest and her name is Fuji and that's my cat. So just so you know, we are cat animal friendly here at Almost 30. We love all sentient beings. If you're new to Almost 30, it's not usually me and my cat. It's usually my best friend and co-host, Lindsay Simsick, doing the show. We've been doing this for 10 years, which is insane. We were OGs in the podcast space. We started on our closet floors. We talk about spirituality, self-development, relationships, aliens. We've talked about so much over the years, and really the show is a place to explore things with curiosity and play and levity and fun. And it's been a place that truly has been my diary and has seen me grow over the past 10 years, which is so crazy. I was having this weird moment the other day where I was thinking about how Almost 30 is almost like a museum or like a photo book for me of the different chapters in my life. And oftentimes I'll have people in the audience say like, it's been so good to see you grow and I've loved seeing you grow and change. And I'm like, when you're in your own experience, you don't necessarily clock how you've changed or evolved or grown over the years. You're not necessarily seeing the wins or seeing the lows or seeing all the evolution that you do. And I think for a lot of people, including yourselves, I'm sure you're not seeing how much you change and grow on a yearly basis. You might be able to clock it at times, but you don't just process it. But the Almost 30 community has seen me change quite a bit over the years. And it's been a space where I've been able to be really honest about my process. So thank you for being in that. And what we like to do here at Almost 30 is do solo episodes. I love sitting down with you, having a conversation, us chatting. And this one, I want to talk about visibility. I want to talk about you being seen and heard. And the reason why I want to talk about visibility and you being seen and heard is because I have, over the years, working with women deeply through my one-on-one work or at my retreats or on tour or meeting y'all in person, have seen that you guys are so incredible, you're so dialed, you're so empathetic, you're so powerful, you're so knowledgeable, and yet so many of y'all have visibility wounds. And these visibility wounds keep you from showing up in the world and keep you from doing what your soul came here to do. You were made to be on stage. You were made to be someone that teaches other people, that leads other people, that heals other people, that is a force and a guiding light. And I know if you listen to Almost 30, you are one of the chosen ones. You are one of the people that is really meant to heal and really meant to lead and to guide. And I know this because I've seen it over the many years of doing this work, that there are people that come here with a mission to be seen and to be heard. For me, what's been so interesting is there's so many layers to visibility. And I remember in our process of starting Almost 30 and starting the show and becoming more visible and, now having a different relationship with it, there was so much healing that I had to do to be safe and to feel safe holding in my body and in my nervous system what visibility meant and what visibility was. And when I talk about visibility, it's not just talking about social media. It's not just talking about branding. It's actually about soul visibility. There's elements of visibility that obviously relate to your work and your purpose and what you came here to do. But really, I'm talking about your soul being visible, you being so authentically yourself that you magnetize the right people, the right opportunities, the right places, the right relationships, and that soul visibility and you being visible to the world and you being enough in yourself and your experience and you really having the ability to hold eyes, to hold energy, to hold attention is what soul visibility is. And there is a part of you that came here to be expressed. There is a part of your soul that came here to be expressed. What's so amazing about the Creator is that the Creator created you for a reason. The Creator created you to experience some beautiful aspect of the world and life, whether that's play or joy or depth or devotion, creativity, whatever that is so unique to the essence of you. And that is what you came here to do in your visibility journey, is to be seen and heard and be so soulfully expressed. Because your soul didn't come here to hide. It did not come here to hide. It came here to be experienced through you. Your soul came to earth. Your soul would not have come to earth otherwise. Your soul came to earth to be experienced through you as a human. And it is time to stop hiding. It is time to stop letting other people get the spotlight, get the stage, get everything that they want because they're okay being visible. As someone that's been an empath my whole life, and I used to hate the word empath. I was like, empath. But now I've just accepted it that I'm highly sensitive. I'm someone that's very in tune, hyper vigilant, would, just dissolve into other people's experiences. I used to get so upset because I felt like all the narcissists and everyone that didn't deserve the limelight would get the stage. I would be at events, or when I was working in the corporate world, I'd be in meetings and I'd be like, dude, why is Eric always talking? He doesn't say anything. He's not adding to this. And I'd be so triggered by people that were okay being visible. I was so triggered by people taking up space. I was like, why are they taking up space? They don't even matter. They're not even in integrity. They're da 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 da. And I would just go on because I felt like they didn't deserve the spotlight. And that's not my place to judge or say if they do or not. But what that was showing me is that I wanted to have my time to shine. I wanted to have my time in the spotlight. So how do you know that you are ready to step into the spotlight, that you are ready to take up more space, that you are ready to be more visible? One, you're probably getting triggered by other people who are taking up space and being visible. So if that is you right now and you find yourself judging people on Instagram, judging people that speak on stages, judging people that are going viral, judging people that are posting all the time, judging your friends because they're doing the thing, you are probably someone that wants to be seen and wants to be heard. Now, the difference between everyone else and you is that you are going to take this knowledge of this trigger and you are going to alchemize it for your learning. You are going to say, ooh, girl, that does not feel good to know or hear. It doesn't feel good to know that you're being triggered and you're judging people and you're just sitting in your house just like, who does she think she is? She thinks she knows everything and she doesn't deserve it. What you're going to do now is you're going to watch that part of you and you're going to recognize that you want that too. You want visibility, you want to be seen, and you want it to be easy. So that trigger, you're going to see as information for the truth of your soul and what it came here to do. So for me, my triggers, narcissists take up space, narcissists get attention. Everyone that doesn't deserve it always gets the stage. And I was seething. And you know what else I was doing in that? And what you could potentially be doing there when you're judging other people that are being seen and being visible is you're also giving yourself an excuse. Oh, she's seen and visible because, she puts all of her life on social media and she shares everything and she's exploiting this and she's talking about that and, she's using ChatGPT or she's doing all this stuff. Your judgments about other people are giving yourself an excuse to not do the thing. So for me, when I was the people that are visible are narcissists, they love taking up space. They don't even have anything interesting to say. So I'm telling myself that if I start to take up space, I'm a narcissist. That if I start to be seen and heard and be visible, I'm doing it for the wrong reasons. That I'm doing it just to take up space and that I have to be a narcissist to succeed. So it's so important as the second thing, noticing when you're triggered by people taking up space. And then second, looking at what the judgment you have around it. Because you're going to have to work on that when you are trying to be more visible. You're going to have to tell yourself, it is not narcissistic for me to take up space. It does not mean I'm selfish. I was talking to a client last night who has the goal next year to become a clear and confident speaker, to become a seen and heard founder of her company. And she said, but I feel like if I'm talking too much and I'm, telling people stories that it's selfish. And I'm like, y'all, we have to look at the stories we tell ourselves. There are parts of us that are frozen in time that are trying to tell us that you taking up space or you telling a story means you're selfish. No, like you taking up space and being seen and heard is not selfish. It is not narcissistic. It is you doing what your soul came here to do. That is the one thing I really want you guys to get before we go into the archetypes of the wounds that can cause your visibility wounds, is that you are just delaying your destiny. When I finally really settled in to my body and my nervous system, the truth that I am so powerful. And that doesn't mean that anyone else is less powerful, more powerful, that the truth of my essence is so powerful, and that I came here to be seen and heard. And that is just the baseline truth. That is the baseline reality. I can't do anything about that. There's actually no reality where I'm not powerful and seen and heard. That's my baseline reality. I defined my reality as that. Then I was like, oh, now I just got to figure out how to do that. And now I got to figure out what that looks like for me to be seen and heard. And now I got to figure out what it is that I want to say when I'm being seen and heard. So if you really want to work on understanding that you are safe to be visible, that you are here to do big things, you need to define as your reality, like literally it is my reality that I'm powerful and I'm meant to be seen and heard. That's also just a really powerful manifestation tactic, to just be like, it is my reality that I am seen and heard. That's what we're talking about when we're being delusional. You are delusionally mentioning what is your reality and the only reality you accept. But it's true. So many of you are people that are here to do big things. You're here in service. You're here to help this planet. You are a group of souls that came in at a very specific time with very specific medicine, with very specific gifts, that knows very specific things, that's been led divinely on your path, that is very guided, that is here to help humanity. And your voice and your visibility is essential in that process. So when we can heal these wounds, when we can have you feel safe in your body and feel fully insourced when you're being seen, the better. When we suppress our voice, when we suppress our expression, when we suppress our truth, that energy doesn't disappear. So energy is neither created nor destroyed. That's one of my original quotes and one of my original learnings, if you guys remember. And if that energy, it doesn't disappear. It goes in your chest, it goes in your heart, it goes in your throat, it goes in your belly. So many people have energy stuck in their body because they're suppressing their truth, they're suppressing their voice, they're suppressing their expression for so many reasons. Visibility wounds can often show up as anxiety, as tightness, as stomach aches, as feeling disconnected from your purpose. And that sort of feeling can make us feel lost, can make us feel hopeless, can make us feel like there's no real point. And so when we heal visibility wounds, we actually heal our physical body, our mental body, and our emotional body. And many of us had childhoods where we weren't safe to be visible. We weren't safe to be seen. I know for myself, I'll talk a little bit about within our archetypes, kind of the ones I really resonate with, but visibility to me felt dangerous. I grew up with a covert narcissist. And so with a covert narcissist, there's a lot of comparison. And so it was one of those experiences where I was compared to a lot, like, oh, you look like this. I look like this. You weigh this. I weigh this. I had a situation where I had a parent come up to me recently even, and they were like, oh, you look so good. And I look so horrible. And it's so embarrassing because I feel so embarrassed to go out because I look so bad and you look so good. And where someone that's unhealed may be like, oh, they're being nice. It's they are comparing themselves to you inappropriately because they're a parent and you're a child. They're centering themselves and cutting themselves down and talking negatively about themselves while sort of pedestalizing you in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable because you feel like you're doing something wrong. So I had so often when I was visible, it was like I was doing something wrong because I was making other people feel small and I was hurting other people. But then I also had this encouragement to be visible because it made my parents look good. So the more visible I was, my parents could use it to be like, this is good. We're getting attention because she is getting attention. But it's also hurting my parents' feelings. So growing up with covert narcissism, and if whatever narcissism flavor you potentially grew up with will definitely be giving you visibility wounds. So I had this experience, and you guys might have this too, where it's not enough and it's too much. So either I'm going in places and I'm way too much, I'm too bright, I'm too shiny, I'm too sparkly, or I'm not enough. I am not smart enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not, accredited enough. It would be either or, like either I'm the best in the room or I'm the worst in the room. And I would sort of never find myself in the middle and feel comfortable, because the healthy experience with visibility is to be like, I am completely comfortable in my experience being completely seen, and I'm completely comfortable with others being seen. One of my favorite snacks and favorite breakfasts and favorite things to have on the go is a protein shake from Kachava. I love the variety of their protein flavors. Strawberry has been such
It's so good.
a hit for me. I've always been chocolate vanilla boring. Now I'm having strawberry shakes all the time. It is so hearty and blends really well, has so many of the things that I need, and I've just really loved having it in my pantry.
They have a new flavor that I'm obsessed with, their coffee flavor. Premium decaffeinated Brazilian beans in it. Usually I have a little slump in the middle of the afternoon. I need a little pick-me-up. I need some nourishment. And the coffee's been great because, I don't know, my brain just says, it's a coffee. It's delicious. This is a all-in-one, very clean, high-quality shake. Super, super clean. There's no artificial anything, no artificial flavors or colors or sweeteners. And 2 scoops gives you 25 grams of protein. That's pretty amazing. It's plant-based protein. You get 6 grams of fiber, greens, adaptogens, electrolytes, nutrients that support your energy and digestion and cognition and immune health. It is packed. It is a full meal, a full experience for your bod that it's gonna love. They also have 7 total flavors that you're gonna like. Mint chocolate chip was my favorite
Chocolate
before,
chip is good,
but
acai
I think,
is interesting.
Yeah, I think coffee's my new fave. So treat yourself to the flavor and nutrition your body really craves. Go to Kachava.com and use code almost30 for 15% off your order. That's Kachava, Kachava.com. The code is almost30. Okay, so lately I've been thinking a lot about how I want to support my body in this kind of like preconception mode, conception mode. And it's a season of life that I've been through before. I have 1 son. I'm just really intentional about what I'm putting in my body and how I am making sure I'm getting the nutrients that I need. So there's so much information out there, and it can feel overwhelming trying to make the right choices when it comes to your prenatal. One thing I feel really good about is that in my first pregnancy, I took Ritual's Essential Prenatal. Even if you're just in a phase of preparing your body or being intentional about foundational nutrients, it feels like such a supportive place to start. Their clinically backed Essential Prenatal includes key nutrients like choline, folate, and omega-3. And I love that the ingredients are traceable and thoughtfully sourced. I and a lot of my friends chose Ritual because I really love and trust the level of research behind it. It's the only leading prenatal backed by its own human clinical trial, and it was clinically shown to deliver key nutrients like folate, biotin, and vitamin D. I also appreciate that it uses methylated folate and a patented capsule designed to dissolve in the small intestines, which I found makes it really gentle and easy to take. Especially, I remember that first trimester, it was kind of like a hard thing to wrap my head around that I had to take prenatals, but it made it a lot easier. So compared to other supplements I've tried, it's just been a better overall experience for me. So I highly recommend. Don't settle for less than evidence-based support. Save 25% on your first month of Ritual at ritual.com/almost30. That's ritual.com/almost30 for 25% off your first month.
Just a quick story on that so you can kind of understand what that looks like to be comfortable with yourself and your light and to be comfortable with others. So I was at a panel recently at a women's conference, and I was on stage with 5 other women, I think. I was on stage with 4 other women. The other woman was like my inner critic. So I was on stage with 4 women, the one that was interviewing us, and then myself. Or I was on stage, you guys, it was my parts were there. I was on stage with 3 other women, okay? So I was on stage with the interviewer, myself, and then 2 others. And when you're on a panel, it's very interesting because you're working with other energies. So Oftentimes you're finding out where your place in space is, where you're helpful, where you're different, where your voice is unique. So each panel is very unique and different because there's kind of this like calibration of energy, of experience, of power that happens. And this is a really prime place for people's comparison, competition, visibility wounds to come up because you're literally being compared to in the audience. Like the audience is like, I like her, I don't like her, she's good, she's not good. Like the audience is like, do I like you or not within seconds? And so it's really like a comparison game. It's kind of a primal experience that our brains will just see a group of panelists on stage and be like, I like them, I don't like them, they were good, they were not good. Like it's just a part of it. So when you're doing panels, you really have to be in your own. So I'm on stage with these really powerful women and, one of them on my right was just an incredible, like, she just had a lot of power and force. Like, she was like, you should not give up, type of thing. She's like, you should not give up. Like, very in her power, very in her, like, clarity, very in her direction. And then the woman next to me was a really good storyteller. She was really, really vulnerable, and she was a really, really good storyteller. So I'm in between these women on stage. I think there's 1,000 people in the audience. And we're talking and the powerful one, woo, you're sitting next to a powerful woman and you're like, okay, like, should I be more powerful? Should I really? Because a powerful woman will move the room. And that's what she was doing. And she's being in her powerful moment. And then the storyteller is really going to grab the room and like have them on the journey of the story. And so I'm in the middle and I'm really kind of, I'm really taken for a second. That part of me that gets really scared and is like, I'm not enough comes through. And she's like, oh, I'm not enough. I didn't do a good job storytelling. I wasn't powerful enough. And that part would have been the part of me that's like, I'm not safe with other people being seen. I am not safe with these women being more visible than me. But what happened, instead of me leaning into that, instead of me giving up, instead of me just like being like, oh my God, having shadow about it, another part of me came forward that was like, what is my authentic code and expression here with being seen and being heard? And so in that moment, I thought to myself, my gifts are humor and authenticity. So where these women, I'm not saying they don't have that, but they have these specific codes for them as speakers. And I have specific codes for me in being visible and seen, which is humor and authenticity. And my job is to celebrate them in their power and to celebrate myself in my own because it is unique. So when you have healed your visibility wounds and you're in your power, even in moments where it feels a little wobbly, I'm not perfect, I dropped back into the truth that I am seen and heard because I'm authentically me, and that means I am authentic and I use humor in my speech. Now, just a little note on that. I'm doing a mastermind for a small group of entrepreneurs, and we're going to be working on stuff like that specifically. Like, what are your unique expression codes for you as a speaker and teacher that you can really lean on? So if that's going to be happening in the mastermind. But being able to hold in that moment both experiences of like, ooh, this could have been where I landed, of like, oh my gosh, like it is not safe for me to be around women that are being seen, and then rising to it is completely safe for them to be in their power and for me to be in my power. Visibility wounds will bring up so much for you, especially as it relates to other women. And I think for me, growing up with a covert narcissist, it's been a lot of that, like how can I work with being safe to be seen with other women when they're not criticizing me or where they're not having comparison to me. What is visibility energetically? Like, what is visibility? Visibility is your life force energy moving outward. It is your essence. It is your life force energy moving out of you. It is this unique expression of something that comes from deep within that we cannot explain, that is the perfect culmination of your experiences, your voice, your stories, your lessons, your friends, your unique texture, your unique voice. Like, it is creative energy in motion. It is this really beautiful, special thing. And when you can feel more obsessed with the creative energy in motion than the reaction of the audience or the room or the date or the, Zoom meeting people, the more truthful and authentic you'll be in your expression, the more aligned you'll be to your purpose, and the more enjoyable visibility will be. I did some work with someone that writes TED Talks, and he writes books on TED Talks on speaking. And because one of my goals in life is just be an incredible, incredible orator. And he talked about one of the important parts of being a good speaker, and this is another little tip, is to be so obsessed with what you have to say more so than what the audience wants to hear. And the most powerful speakers are really concerned first with their experience rather than the audience. So you are just so enthralled in your story and your experience in what you have to teach that it actually creates this experience where the audience then becomes so obsessed and interested and excited. You guys have probably had experiences where you've been with someone that's an amazing storyteller and they're sitting there telling you a story about the time they went to Taco Bell at 2 a.m. and they only got 2 burritos instead of 3. True story, one time when I was in Ohio that happened. And you're like, oh my God, and then what? And then did you go back to Taco Bell? You're just like, what? And the story is so silly and doesn't matter. People could be that are so enthralled, and that's why narcissists usually have a lot of attention and get a lot of recognition because they're so enthralled and obsessed that it actually calls forward people to be enthralled and obsessed too, because energetically you're like, what's going on here? Whatever this person thinks, it seems interesting. And oftentimes we are so unconscious with our thoughts that we will attach and entrain to other people's thoughts. So this narcissist has a conscious thought of, I'm amazing, this is interesting to me. And then we'll just be like unconscious. We'll be like, whoa. And we'll just be like, wow, what's going on over there? Wow, that's interesting. And we'll think that that's interesting. So when you can be in the experience of your visibility, feeling safe and feeling okay and experiencing this creative energy and motion, there's really, really nothing like it. And every time you silence yourself to keep the peace, to stay small, to make everyone like you, you stop this energy current. You stop yourself and this energy in your body from moving, and you deny yourself the opportunity to not only commune with God and creativity, but to be seen by people and to be really heard by people. And that's the thing about being seen and heard and having visibility, is it's not just you on Instagram creating viral reels. It's also you and your soul being seen by another. This work of visibility doesn't just go, again, with social media. It goes with soulful relationships and you really being dropped into this experience that you have and this voice that you have within you that needs to come out, that deserves to come out. So sometimes this stagnation and this loss of confidence and this inability to speak in the visibility wound can often feel like depression, confusion, lack of direction. You can feel really stuck in life. You can feel unseen in rooms of people. Visibility and purpose actually requires energetic circulation between yourself, between God, and between others. And your gifts are activated through expression. Visibility wounds are formed early. Much like many wounds, visibility wounds are formed early in life. And many of you have done work on tracking this and sort of, understanding this. But I think it's really important that we kind of talk about this, because if we want to understand how to heal things, we really have to understand where they came from. And if you are feeling like you want to be seen, you want to be heard, you want to be in your fullest expression, in your purpose, and you're not, and you're uncomfortable and thinking of being on stage or being seen or being fully heard or being understood or being fully seen in a relationship, you need to heal your visibility wounds. Visibility wounds come from moments where you realize that being seen or being more visible wasn't safe. So maybe you were dancing in the kitchen and your parents told you, stop doing that. Go back to your room. Maybe you were crying and emotional and you got shunned for it. Maybe you had a moment where something really good happened to you. You got an award and then someone made fun of you. Maybe you had a year where you blossomed and you became really beautiful and everyone started to hate you. Maybe you were the class clown and you got in trouble for it. Maybe you were someone that, was really popular and then people turned on you and betrayed you. Maybe you wanted to be seen and you felt like you never were. So you felt this resentment and this anger because you felt like there was this aspect of you that could not get out. Visibility wounds are literally everywhere. And usually they come through parents or caregivers that were emotionally unstable, check, or emotionally unavailable. They come from being praised for achievement, but not essence. So the things that you do, not who you are, which is for so many of us true, from being criticized, corrected, or shamed for expression. So that could be sexual expression, energetic expression, emotional expression, like vocal expression. There's so many ways that we've been criticized for it. It's crazy. Being told to be quiet, polite, agreeable, or small. This is a lot of the wound of the feminine. A lot of these are feminine wounds if you guys aren't picking up on what I'm throwing down. Being told to be quiet, polite, agreeable, or small. Oftentimes when I work with my girlies in metamorphosis, goodness, I'm trying to decide if I want to go down this rabbit hole, but let's just go a little bit down, okay? A lot of my girls in metamorphosis, which is my body transformation program, have visibility wounds because their mom wanted them to be smaller or more thin. And so then they think that they cannot be seen or heard until they're thin or they're small. And so their desire to be thin actually is detrimental to their desire to be visible. If you in your head and your subconscious mind are like, I need to be thin, I need to be thin, I need to lose weight, I need to lose weight, what about that is going to be like, I should be on stage in front of people taking up space? If your subconscious is littered and fed with messages about you needing to be thinner or smaller, and then in your conscious mind, you want to take up more space, that's not going to work. It's not going to work. You cannot take up space while on the other side trying to starve yourself energetically. You can't take in a lot of energy from other people while starving yourself energetically. A lot of times people have visibility wounds if they are parentified because then, they had to take on their parents' emotions. They never really figured out their own emotions. This is the biggest one, I think. If you were bullied, if you were excluded, if you were misunderstood, you most likely have visibility wounds. I think a lot of visibility wounds come from childhood. I think a lot of them come from high school. High school and 7th and 8th grade. 8th grade, worst year of my life, come at me. Dude, worst year of my life. That year and then freshman year of college, worst years of my life. I should look at that astrologically, look at what was happening. But just like so painful. And we learn so much and our brain is so impressionable during that time. So many people bullied and have those old wounds that they're carrying around them that tell them that it's not safe to be visible.
Okay, can we talk about aging for a second? I love to talk about this. I feel like in your 30s and 40s, you start noticing little things. Sleep isn't as deep or energy isn't as consistent, maybe just some changes in your physical appearance and you're like, wait, is this just how it goes right now? Healthy aging is something I care deeply, deeply about. I think ever since becoming a parent, I'm like, I want to feel as good as possible for as long as possible. And I've spent a lot of time trying to get ahead of it instead of reacting to it. That's why I am so excited about C15 from Fatty 15. It's the first emerging essential fatty acid to be discovered in more than 90 years. It was actually discovered by co-founder Dr. Stephanie Van Watson while working with the U.S. Navy to improve the health of older dolphins. That's right, dolphins, which is really incredible. Based on over 100 studies, we now know that C15 strengthens our cells and helps slow aging at the cellular level. This is what I'm interested in. Let's get to the cellular level of everything. When our cells don't have enough C15, they can become fragile and age faster, and as many as 1 in 3 people may have lower levels. So I've been taking Fatty 15 consistently, and I love that it feels like I'm supporting my long-term health in a foundational way. It's vegan-friendly, 100% pure C15, and even comes in a gorgeous reusable glass jar. Fatty 15 is on a mission to optimize your C15 levels to help support your long-term health and wellness, especially as you age. You can get an additional 15% off their 90-day subscription starter kit by going to fatty15.com/almost30 and using the code almost30 at checkout. Again, that's fatty15.com/almost30. Use the code almost30 at checkout.
You also could have a lot of chaos in your childhood where then you understood that being invisible means you were safe. So if everything was crazy at home and you're like, whoa, I don't even know what to do, you're like, I know hiding or being invisible makes me safe. I knew that for me, completely exiting my own experience and my own inner world and my own body was safe. So I would hyper attune go in people's minds. I would just be fully immersed in their experience and their psyche and all that to get safety and to get connection. When this happened, when you had these things happen, your nervous system made a very simple decision that said that it is safer to hide parts of myself. This wasn't conscious. Your nervous system said it is safe for me to hide myself. I should hide myself to be safe. And then that decision becomes embodied and wired in our system where we're like, okay, now I believe that it is literally unsafe for me from a nervous system perspective to be seen. This is why, too, when you go on stage, when you put a podcast mic in front of your mouth, when you have to give a toast at a wedding, when you have to give a speech, when you have to say something hard, when you have to present at work, your body goes into fight or flight because your body has literally been trained over time to believe that being seen or heard is dangerous. Mom's going to get mad. Dad's going to get mad. Someone's going to judge me. Someone's going to abandon me. Someone's going to betray me. And we're not even talking about past lifetimes here, okay? Because there is past lifetime woundage that is unique to all of y'all that has a lot to do with this too. A lot of my clients, when we work through their stuff, it's lifetime of their visibility wound. We're also going back because there's a lot of lifetimes where visibility was not safe, especially if you have a witch wound, especially if you were a powerful woman in a past lifetime. Whew, that is a tough one. And you have to go back a little bit in that to heal. But a lot of working with this lifetime can do a lot of it because the subconscious is sort of like the memory bank of the mind. So your nervous system really is carrying the trauma and the wanting to hide and not be seen and heard into your relationships, your creativity, your leadership, and your love. And it is really, really keeping you from the deepest relationships, the most expressed life, the most abundant business, the most thriving social media. Everything you want is on the other side of you healing this invisibility wound, I think. Because it's like being seen in authenticity in relationships, being seen in your purpose, being seen as who you are. Like it's like that. It's like essence, visibility, authenticity, truth. Like it just all comes together as one, truly. So there's a reason why visibility feels charged. You know, I was talking to the Metamorphosis group this week, and some of the girls were talking about how recently they had a presentation, and they're like, something happened to my body during that presentation where I was terrified, I was sweating, I was overwhelmed, I wanted to run, it was so scary. And that is your body fighting for survival. Your body is like, this is absolutely not okay. This is absolutely not safe. I need to go or something bad's going to happen. So visibility does feel charged. It's not just a mindset thing. When we're working with visibility, we are working with the body and the nervous system so much. So when I'm working with anyone on this, it is body and nervous system as well, so that we can create safety in your body so that you can be fully seen and heard. So archetypes can be sort of helpful for understanding visibility wounds. I love doing archetype work with the women that I work with, whether we're talking about queen, lover, maiden, crone. Like it's just really nice because archetypes hit on the collective consciousness. You know, Jung talks a lot about archetypes in the fact that it really is something that sort of can help connect all of us because we have this collective unconscious that sort of stores things like archetypes in it. So when you think about the archetype of the queen, it's easy. We all kind of think of the same imagery, and then you can kind of embody that feeling of the queen because we all tune into this shared understanding of what the queen is. So with visibility, I like to work with archetypes because then we can kind of personify it, work with it, and heal it. Personification is great for the brain to heal and work with things. So when visibility isn't safe, these archetypes sort of develop in your mind. These are protective identities that your system builds to survive. They're not flaws, they're adaptations, much like parts. So we could even see this from a parts perspective. You guys know I love internal family systems, parts work. This could be even seen from a parts perspective. The first one, y'all are going to know this one. This is going to be, you know, so many people. This is the good girl. Good girls, stand up. Good girls, where you at? I actually don't identify as a good girl. I've actually been more rebel, so I'm not a good girl. So love you guys, good girls. You're my sisters, but you are people that found safety in being quiet, people-pleasing, and agreeable. So you learned it is safe for me to be quiet, people pleasing, and agreeable. Visibility for you, like I said earlier, that client I had, feels selfish. Okay. You think if I'm taking up space, I am being selfish. That is bad of me because I'm a good girl. I let everyone else take up space. Ugh, you good girls. I tell you what, I think my rebel part is always like good girls. Ugh. I don't mean to judge. Okay. I just don't know what that would even be like. You know what I mean? Because I'm just like, I'm just so active where I'm like, come on. So could be a good girl. Love you, good girls. The next one is the performer. This is where I step in. The performer needs to be, God, this is so crazy. The performer learns to be impressive to be loved. So my performer part, honey, she needs to be the smartest one in the room, the most well-read person in the room. She needs to have something interesting and prolific to say. I remember when I'd go to like workshops or retreats or trainings, I'd be in women's circles and I'd be like, if I am not dropping the mic, okay, I am not even going to speak. I need to bring these women to tears or I'm not going to talk. So I have this part of me that's like, unless it's literally the most insanely impressive thing, I am not even talking. And I need to be impressive to be loved. So with my parents, I had to be incredibly impressive to be loved. Visibility, y'all. Oh my God, let me just take a moment for this to honor the exhaustion. Visibility feels and becomes exhausting because each time you're out at a place, you're like, all right, performer part, strap in, step forward. It's time to be the most impressive, interesting person in the room. And if not, we're bad, we failed. So the performer feels exhausted and the performer has to be the most impressive person in the room. So you stop yourself from being visible because you're like, if it's not fucking amazing, I'm not going to do it. The third one, so we have good girl performer. The third one is the caretaker. Can relate. I think a lot of you guys are this one. The caretaker learns to focus on others to avoid being seen. Ooh, honey. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hurts me deeply. Hits me in a real way. Feel it in my gut. Feel my palms sweating. Your needs disappear. I used to be so like malleable. I'd be like, I don't even know I had a body. Like someone would be like, oh my God, I love your shirt. I'd be like, who's wearing a shirt? I'd be like, what? I'd be like, oh my God, my body's here. So I would so much focus on others. I had one time a good example as a story to understand the caretaker. A friend say, she's like, I love you and you're so giving and you're so loving and you so show up for people, but you almost give so much that it's almost like there's an arm in front of you and you don't ever let anyone in or take care of you. So you so much focus on everyone else's needs to be seen. This is the nurses, this is the teachers, this is the healers, this is people that are just codependent, really focusing on everyone else's lives to get them out of their purpose. I have had clients like this where I've seen them until working with me completely disregard their purpose and what they came here to do because they're prioritizing everyone else's needs over their own, their team, their partner, their perception of their parents' needs. Like this is freaking huge. This caretaker, huge one. The intellectualizer is the fourth one. So the intellectualizer learns to stay in the mind instead of the body, baby. Woo. They explain instead of express. You can see and understand this part or this archetype a lot of times when you see people speak. There's an experience that happens when someone becomes magnetic when they're speaking. You're like, damn, I am on every freaking word of what they're saying because they feel it in their body. They're telling the truth. They're congruent. They're aligned. You're like, oh my God, it's magnetic. They're fully embodied in their truth. And then there's someone that's like, yeah, so there's 300 million studies of this that go up the research ladder. And if you really look closely at the longitudinal studies, you're like, you're like sleeping because they're just in the mind. So they hide themselves from actually being seen because they intellectualize everything and they don't allow it to move through their body and be their creative force and their essence. So the intellectualizer stays in the mind instead of the body. I have one of my clients like this who's really great at her job because she's learned to be an amazing intellectualizer. She knows the data, she knows the research, she knows the contracts, and she's not in her body at all. And so she explains everything and instead of expressing it. And so we have to get her in touch with her heart and the truth in her body to move energy naturally instead of just intellectualizing. You are being seen by data, but not by the truth. So the fifth one is the rebel. Pushes visibility aggressively to protect vulnerability. The strength masks softness. So this is the person that's like, always being seen at the parties, always like speaking in the circles, always being seen, but like really isn't sharing anything and isn't actually being vulnerable. They can express ideas and concepts and theories and talk about things, but never share about themselves. And the rebel really like doesn't want to be seen for the truth. So this can be very triggering for people when you're like with someone like this, because you're like, okay, you're very seen, but I'm not seeing you. And for a lot of people listening to the show, you guys that are deep feelers and empaths and people that read energy, this is a tough one because you're like, you are being so loud and so obnoxious, but yet you're literally hiding the truth of who you are. Wow, do I struggle with this one? Because I'm reading energy. I'm reading your mind. I'm reading your energy, seeing what's up. And so if there is someone that's like this, that's like not being truthful, but also being loud, it's very hard for me because I'm like, that's double trigger. You're not saying anything normal or helpful, but yet you're also like hiding the truth. And love them. It's one of the archetypes that we have. Their strength and voice and grandioseness masks the truth of what they feel and the truth of who they are. So they're being visible, but they're not being seen for real. The last one is the invisible one. So the invisible one is someone that disappears entirely. They feel safest by hiding completely and not being noticed. So they're just like, I'm out. I don't want to do this. I'm hiding in my room. I'm going to just prop this other person up. I'm not going to even try. I'm not going to even put my hat in the ring. No. Not for me, not for me. That's them, not me. The invisible one. And so the invisible one, a lot of the work for the invisible one is to find yourself, to attune to yourself, to find how you actually feel, what you actually want, who you actually are, and allow yourself to first be noticed by yourself. Noticing and attuning to yourself. Noticing, ooh, who am I? What do I feel? What's going on with me? What is my internal landscape? Ooh, okay. Now I have a form. I'm going to create safety in myself and then be safe to be seen by others. So these archetypes, let's summarize these archetypes. The good girl, the performer, the caretaker, the intellectualizer, the rebel, the invisible one. Each of these archetypes really did an amazing job of keeping you safe. This is why I love parts work. This is why I do it with my clients, is because the archetypes are so helpful for keeping you safe. Each of them was helpful for me. Being a performer, so helpful because you guys now, my performer part, my girl gets breaks. When I'm with my friends, I'm like, girl, performer part, you can take a load off. We're with the homies. We can chill. But performer part, when I'm speaking on stage, it's her time to shine, honey. So she's like, girl, I'm about to be so impressive. I'm like, okay, girl, let's be impressive. It's time. It is time. It is time to shine. But I'm not unconsciously having performer part lead. I'm not exhausted because I choose when she is being expressed, and visibility is something that I'm comfortable allowing when she's there. So each archetype kept you safe, whatever it is, but they will limit your aliveness. They will limit your ability to be in your purpose and live your life. So this shows up, and these limits of your archetypes, these show up in you feeling called to share, but freezing up. You overthinking your voice and what you have to say. Oh my gosh, I see this so much. And this was me for so long. I'd be like, okay, well, if I say that I'm uncomfortable, then they're going to say, well, that's your fault. And then I'm going to say, okay, well, that doesn't even matter. And then what's the even point? A lot of breaking codependency is breaking the conversation that you have, assuming you know what the other person is going to say. So overthinking your voice, judging yourself is a huge thing that we let go in this process. This also shows up with you second guessing your intuition. Yeah, like you not being in your visibility and healing your visibility wound is also about your intuition. Your intuition is telling you to say something. It's telling you to go. It's telling you to help people. It's telling you that you're made for more. And yet this visibility wound is keeping you from listening to the actual truth of your intuition. You crave being seen, but you hide at the same time. When you have these visibility wounds, your self and your parts and the truth of you really wants to be seen, but you hide at the same time. This is not just about being confident. This is not a confidence thing. This is about your nervous system remembering the trauma or the experiences that happened to you previously and pulling upon that data to keep you safe. So an example of you wanting to be seen and hide at the same time, I remember being in experience with a past relationship, and they didn't like when I would be really like sparkly and shiny and get a lot of attention. They loved it when we first started dating, but not at the end. And I remember being at this event and I was like just crushing. My performer part was crushing. Everyone was laughing. I was making the jokes. I mean, life was good. And then when I leave, I get in trouble. He is not pleased with the fact that I've taken up and gotten all the attention. And so my nervous system was like, yep, can't be sparkly, can't be shiny, it's not safe. So I wanted to be seen because I love making people laugh and sharing and expressing and just, creating conversation and all of that. But then my nervous system was taught that it is bad and I needed to hide because if I did become seen, I would lose attachment and I would lose the relationship. So my nervous system learned that I wanted to be seen and hide. So my nervous system was like, I really want to be seen because it's my truth. And I also need to hide because I need to keep attachment. And so a lot of people within their parents or even relational dynamics have learned this issue. So when we work on healing the visibility wound, kind of transitioning to talking about the healing of this wound, visibility healing really is nervous system healing. So you don't heal visibility by forcing confidence, by being like, it's all good. You have to bring the body and you have to create internal safety. So your body has to believe it's safe to exist out loud. One of my favorite practices that I do with my clients, what I'm going to be doing at Fully Expressed and in the mastermind, is to actually practice being fully seen. So this is an exercise that y'all can do. Sitting in the comfort and safety of your home, in your bed, wherever is safe for you, having your body feel completely safe. What you're going to do is close your eyes. So now that you're comfortable and you feel safe in your body and you feel like, okay, physically, I know for a fact I'm safe, you're going to close your eyes and you're going to visualize yourself in your most expressed state, the dream state of your most expressed self, whether that's on stage in front of Madison Square Garden, at the Oscars, whether that's at a boardroom speech, whether that's holding hands with someone that you love, telling them you love them, whether that's growing on social media and speaking to camera, whatever that is for you, that your soul wants to be seen and heard doing. And through the visualization, activating your nervous system to respond, because your subconscious mind is connected. It's not seeing if it's reality or not. It's going to activate your nervous system. So you're going to feel the response that is the truth of your wound. So that's, I'm anxious, I'm scared, I'm sweating, my heart is racing, I'm overwhelmed. Your body will tell you what your nervous system thinks of that. And so in the safety of your home, you regulate your nervous system in the experience that you're having in your mind. So in the safety of my own home, I'm hand on my body. I'm just kind of regulating. I'm relaxing into the body. I'm deepening the breath. And I'm allowing myself to oscillate in and out of the experience with the activated nervous system, regulating my nervous system so that I finally feel safe in the visualization of my biggest, most visible life. Your body needs to feel safe in this experience. So a few other things that you can do in this process besides that really powerful exercise that I love to do with my clients is regulate before you express. So before you are in a meeting or before something big that you really want to be seen and heard in, put your hand on your chest, put your feet on the ground, feel your feet, and just allow almost the feeling of a channel opening. So from the crown of your head, energy moving all the way down your spine, through your legs, through your feet. You can imagine that channel's opening to heaven, opening to your spirit guides, to your angels, to the truth of your essence and who you are. I love to connect to God before I get on stage. I'll just attune my channel to God and I'll just say, God, move through me. Like nothing but the highest for this experience. Like help me move out of the way so that you can move through me. So attuning your channel and regulating that space before you express is huge. And what happens here, the one thing that people get wrong that I want you to pay attention to, people stop too quick. So they'll take a second. They'll be like, hand on chest. Okay. Open channel. Okay. You need to actually somatically feel this experience happen. You need to feel the regulation, the slow down, the feet on the ground. This could take a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Give yourself time. It will get faster and easier over time, but it's going to take a second for you to literally feel a channel opening to heaven and like energy moving through your body. Your presence is what opens up this channel. And this channel's for your essence. This channel's for God. This channel's for your highest self. This channel's for the truth of what you want to be seen and heard, and the truth that goes beyond any wounding that you have. The second thing that I want you to do is acknowledge the protective archetype. So acknowledging your rebel, your invisible one, your performer, your good girl. Acknowledge her. That's what I do with my performer. I'm like, hey, sis, we're at dinner. you don't need to do this. You don't need to try so hard right now. I love you, sister. Sit next to me. But I'm in charge. Self is here. I can be myself. And then when I'm on stage, I'm like, girl, get ready because it's performer time. It is time to turn on the lights, to put on a show. I acknowledge that protective archetype and how she has served me so well. I acknowledge how she has helped me, and I give her another role, or I help soothe her to relax her so that I can be seen. So invisible one, love you, girl. I love you so much. You are the best. Sit next to me because it's time for the queen to step forward. It's time for the truth of me to step forward. So acknowledging that protective archetype and loving her, essential. The third is starting small and embody. So starting small. Visibility isn't immediately about volume. You guys may not be able to hold energetically in your vessel all of the light and energy of Madison Square Garden next week. Start small. Start with telling your partner what you actually want for dinner. Hey, what are you craving for dinner? Oh, I really, really want Thai. That's what I really want. I really want Thai. How can you make that happen? Literally, visibility can happen in any moment by you tuning into your internal landscape and dialogue and telling the truth. The fourth is express without outsourcing your worth. So let your voice belong to you before it belongs to the world. So having your own safety within. So what does that mean? For me, that means having my own internal dialogue and landscape. An example, I was on the phone with a friend this morning and she was saying something. She was giving me advice and I was like having an internal dialogue. I'm listening. I'm like, oh yeah, And then my internal dialogue says she's projecting. And I'm available to have that thought. It's safe in me to express in my mind. While before I'd be like, you're judging her. You should listen. She knows what she's talking about. I'm like, no, I can think she's projecting. I can think that's not right, and that's okay. So have an internal dialogue that is safe within yourself. The fifth is choosing resonant environments. Not every single person deserves access to your medicine. Gosh, I was reading about Neville Goddard talking about demons. And Neville Goddard doesn't see demons in the religious way. And this is going to tie back to what I'm talking about, I promise. But Neville Goddard talks about demons as entities that people have that are basically their own fears and projections. So if I was to go up to someone and be like, I'm so excited to go on stage this weekend, they'd be like, oh my God, everyone's going to boo you. And like, they're going to judge your outfit. That's their demons. They are projecting onto me their own fears and insecurities completely unconsciously because in their reality, you are judged for what you look like and people make fun of you. And so their demons are coming at me and they're trying to get me scared. Honey, nope. Choose resonant environments to share your truth. Again, mastermind or fully expressed are freaking perfect opportunities for you to be fully seen and heard. The one thing about me, my containers are pristine. This is a part of my dharma and this is a part of what God has made me here to do, but pristine environment. So resonant environments, whether it's with me and my groups or with friends, choose a resonant environments because not everyone deserves your medicine, truthfully. And when you can really discern and understand that, you're going to be so much better. Quick story about that. I auditioned for a TV show with some friends and I got on the call and I realized that this was like a TV show for like people that don't believe in spirituality, don't understand spirituality, don't have like a spiritual practice. And when I got on the call, I realized immediately that they were going to make us like the jokes and the laughing stock of the show, because they were going to call us like the spiritual people, the woo-woo people, all of that. I'm out. I'm complete. I do not need to go to a TV studio, to go to people's homes to prove to them God is real, spirituality is real, energy is real. No, I'm all good on all that. I have no desire to try to prove myself to someone else, and not everyone deserves my medicine. This is a very specific energy that you hold that I'm able to access, and we're able to commune in this way. The 6 is so important, and I want you guys to get this. Allow imperfection in your process. Energy responds to authenticity, not polish. Some of the most powerful TED Talks, I read this book on TED Talks, were when people made mistakes at the beginning. They're like, hey, this is really vulnerable. Brene Brown, her TED Talks are some of the biggest TED Talks in the world because she was incredibly vulnerable and not polished. Energy responds to authenticity and truth, not polish. Visibility is absolutely a part of your spiritual path. And I'm leaning forward when I'm saying this. You being fully expressed and seen and heard is not selfish. It is not wrong. It does not mean you are doing something wrong. It does not mean you are taking up too much space. It does not mean that you are off your path. It actually means you are on your path. The bigger I am, the more on path and on purpose I am. God is going to bring me and move me in the rooms where I am meant to serve. And I am meant to be big. I am meant to take up space. And the more that I could lean in and understand that and allow God to move through me to do that, the absolute better. So just remembering that healing your visibility wounds and going through this practice of understanding your archetypes, looking at the different ways you can heal your nervous system to do this is essential for you being on purpose and in your dharma and on mission. And that is what I'm so excited to support you in doing and so freaking here for, because when you hide, a part of your soul hides. Like your soul wants to move through you in this lifetime, wants to be expressed in this lifetime, wants to be seen on stages, online, on Instagram, wherever it is you feel called. Your soul knows you are meant to be seen there. When you speak, create, lead, and share, you really activate these really beautiful dormant parts of yourself. And it's when you become who you came here to be. So you're the best. I'm proud of you. You're doing the work. You're here on purpose, on mission. You're showing up every single day. I got you, fam. It's Krista on Instagram, ITSK or ISTA. Then you can find all my solos on Almost 30. We have 800 episodes of amazingness and fun. And you're just incredible. You're doing the damn thing. I love you. Almost30.com. Almost 30 podcasts on Instagram. We are on YouTube. I hope you are watching me on YouTube and seeing my face. Almost 30 podcast on TikTok and Instagram. Okay, guys, you're the best. I can't wait to see you shine. Bye-bye.